Hello, Davey.
Hello, James. I feel
Fancy seeing you here on this couch in your office.
no. What an odd occurrence for both of us to be here. So today we are going to talk about our first "This Is Everything" episode, which some of you have probably already heard and seen some of the recaps that we've posted on social media. We're going to talk about quickly Bezier Node, but more importantly Keymix.
New plugin. It's a new plugin.
And James is going to take us through a demo, which is very exciting. And then we want to have a quick chat and call out about plugins that use AI.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. Maybe we could make a plugin that just does our show for us using AI.
I would much prefer that.
And still images of us and then animates our mouth and hands.
Oh yeah, deepfakes, but
Yes.
safe for work deepfakes.
And then also James, in the spare time that he never has been learning OpenGL.
Which will enable many cool things for previous plugins and some really cool new plugins.
Exactly, but we can't tell you too much about that just now.
Because they don't exist.
They don't exist. Okay, so first up, let's talk about This Is Everything. First episode, we interviewed Fraser Davidson from Cub Studio in London.
Yeah, it went for an hour.
It did, it went for, we had to wrap it up. It
Yeah.
wasn't like he wrapped it up, we had to go.
Yeah, we didn't even have time for all the user questions.
No.
Which I guess that's a good thing and a bad thing.
I think we learned about the time difference because we had it at 10 p.m. local time, which was midday in London, which was good. It was 8 a.m. in LA, which was okay, because a lot of motion designers or people interested in the topics may not be up that early. But then in New York, I think it was 5 a.m.
Yeah, no
one was up. But what we found is over that hour, more and more people started to log on, and the interaction got it increased, and people were asking more questions and back and forwards, and more people were logging on. And I think it ended up having it's got like 1,400 views. It had 1,400 views from that hour session. So that's really good.
Yeah, and it was during the World Cup, which we didn't plan for. That was a bad call.
That was a very bad call. But hey, when is a good time to go live?
Not in the World Cup.
But we did it anyway. So yeah, that was cool. Fraser was good. We were good. People have been asking who our next guest is, which we will be announcing over the next week or two when we plan our second show and episode, which will hopefully kick off with lots of user engagement, so we can use that full hour to answer everyone's questions and talk about the industry and what our guest does and thinks and feels and all that fun stuff. So that was that. Let's talk about Bezier Node for 1.5 seconds, and then I'll let you talk about Keymix for 4.25 seconds.
Last episode we showed off Bezier Node. It was nearly ready, but had some issues. But now it is about ready. So we'll be releasing in 1-2 weeks
when James does the fucking marketing material.
Yep.
Thanks for that, James. Hopefully this cuts in right perfectly where you stop talking, because it is a cut point. And up next, guys, it's very exciting. It's the one and only James Whiffen about to tell us.
It is a new free plugin.
Free.
It's free.
Free.
It's called Keymix.
Free.
And it basically...
Free.
It's free, and it is literally the Keymix node from Nuke.
And better.
No, this is stock footage off the internet. I've got 2 keys. This key here is sort of making sure that the woman is completely opaque. Her alpha is solid. And then we have another softer key, which is more suitable for the transparent things like hair and the fabric that she is wearing, which is very transparent. So what we want to do is merge these 2 keys together. And we want to do that based on a mask or a matte. So here's the key. We've got key lights. We apply it afterwards. We just type in key mix, and we want to mix along with our key main. We want to mix key body. Now we can do that 2 ways. We can either use a mask, which we will do.
James, while you're doing this, can you tell me why this is helpful?
On one layer, you can't get a perfect key because the settings in key light that you use for the body are not optimal settings for the fabric, which are not optimal settings for the hair. So it is possible to get a key in a single layer, but if you really want to finesse the key and make it as good as it possibly can be, you're going to need multiple keys, and then you need to mix them back together. And to mix them back together in After Effects, I'll show how we would normally do that afterwards, but it's a little bit more tedious than this.
Right.
So we're going to use the mask that we have here, and I've set that mask to none because if you set it to a mode, it's just going to, we're not going to be able to see the layer. So we select the mask, and now inside this, we want to make sure we're using the effects of the key. So if you're just using the source, it's just solid. We want to evaluate the key light. And now inside this mask, we have the key that is right for the body. So then you would, move this around a little bit just so that the body is inside the key, inside this mask, and the fabric is outside. And then we can feather it using this, and it's going to feather it. Or if you want, you can use the After Effects has its own mask feather tool, which enables variable feathering based on which vertex. So this one has way more feathering, this one has almost none, so that works too. And if you want, you can also use a layer, because sometimes you might have farmed out Roto to India, they might have supplied it as a matte, so we can use that. So let's go layer matte this time, let's enable that. And I'm going to use layer number 1, which is the matte. And we can, again, set that to effects and masks. So on here, I'm going to draw a mask, and that's the same as before. It's using a mask on this layer, but the benefit of this is now it's on a separate layer. We could apply tracking data to it. So the mask can move with tracking data or whatever you want, or this matte itself could be the Roto from India.
But Keymix actually doesn't work with Roto done from any other country.
Yes, that's right. It's racist. It's like affirmative action towards Indian rotoscoping only.
Wow.
Now let's talk about how we would do this otherwise. If we didn't have Keymix, how would we merge these keys together? Well, you create a new layer as a matte, you draw your mask however you wanted it to, then you would alpha matte this key to that.
Yeah.
But let's just say there's some feathering, because that's going to introduce even more problems. And then you could alpha invert it based on your second key. Now we've got a fringe because there's feathering
between the two.
And the alpha by default is not additive. So the hack way to fix that would be you would expand one of them
over the other.
But now you've actually got like an inverse fringe where there's too much going on here.
Yeah.
So we're only trying to mix 2 keys rather than imagine if you're trying to mix 100 keys together.
So typically in the past people just wouldn't use After Effects for joining keys, or if you did, it would just be a problem after problem.
You can do it. I like to pre-comp stuff to make it easier, but pre-comping has its own problems
that you enter into.
So merging keys is a pain, but with Keymix we can now add another Keymix and then merge another key. We can do it all in the one layer. We don't need to keep having...
So it also keeps your timeline a lot cleaner as well.
Yeah. No more of these.
Are we selling this?
I think we're going to be doing different licensing. It's going to be free, but you're going to have to buy it if you want to work over 720p. So at 720p...
Got you there.
You don't have to buy it, it's free.
It's free, guys.
But if you want to run it in full HD, it's literally going to take that 720p buffer and just up-res it. So your quality is not great.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to want to buy it if you're working at 1080.
Yeah. And then
or larger. So this is like, instead of watermarking it, because we know how annoying watermarks are.
It'll just up-res.
It'll just up-res, yeah. So you could use it at 10. You could use it at 16K. It's just your quality's bad. But people, hobbyists on YouTube or just hobbyists in general, you can have it for free, 720p.
Our gift to you.
You don't have to buy it. Pretty excited about it because that's a function I've found lacking in After Effects. And I'm sure anyone who's tried to do more advanced keying in After Effects misses those tools from Nuke.
So that's Keymix for you, for everyone, for James, for me. Now, I'm going to hand this over to you to talk about your latest expeditions into the land of OpenGL.
Yes, so this is my misadventures into the world of OpenGL, which is taking up way too much of my time. That's why I haven't really released anything. Basically, I've had I'm too dumb to learn it myself. I've had multiple tutors trying to teach me OpenGL.
We've paid for that too.
We have. They're not cheap, but it's a difficult thing, but it's going to allow us to create some really cool new plugins. I'm sure you all know Plexus, the most popular plugin for After Effects in the world, and
is that really the?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you just hype man.
I just assumed that maybe. Okay, probably Optical Flares and Element 3D and Plexus are the three.
They're up there.
And Particular, whatever. But I would say, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure Element 3D, Optical Flares, and Plexus are all made with OpenGL, so really cool 3D things that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And also upgrades to our previous plugins, such as Textbox, Text Delay. They are currently only working with 2D layers, 2D text, and that's just a limitation with After Effects. So once we are good with OpenGL, hopefully we'll be able to even update the old ones to be much cooler and bring in the third dimension.
Well, wrapping up our Show Me Everything episode, we will have one last hurrah, which is to just talk about AI and the world of After Effects. So there's been 2 new plugins, at least new to us, released that use artificial intelligence. James is going to talk about them.
So I'm sure you may have seen them already. One of them is called Transfusion, and it basically turns your video into a Picasso painting. Yeah, so that was released by Gabriel Gruner, who also made Pixel Sorter, and basically it's kind of like Photoshop layer styles on crack. I think you can feed it an image, or it just uses images that it has, like presets, and you convert whatever footage, still image or video, into awesome paintings. So it's kind of like this Photoshop plugin called Filter Forge, and Filter Forge basically you generate these custom, but Transfusion you generate it based on another image. And I actually did one project trying to use Filter Forge, but it took about 2 minutes to process every image, and video is 25-30 frames a second. It took me multiple days just to get one layer style, and in the end it looked shit. Client, I think I lost that client. So try this one instead. It's much quicker and it runs on the GPU. And then there's another cool AI plugin called Transcriptive. We're not even getting paid to
but we're plugging both
competition.
Yeah, but that's what we are at Plugging Everything.
We plug
it all.
Yeah, we plug everything, even if it's not ours. So this one, very cool. If you have some audio, it can listen to your audio and generate subtitles for you, which is obviously a very tedious process. I've not done it myself, but obviously
it is tedious.
It sounds tedious. This one's it's pretty scary that the computer is gonna listen to your words and transcribe them for you, but that's the future. I think eventually translators will be out of a job, because computers can do it better eventually. And obviously a big time saver. And so we would like to do cool plugins like this, but we're not
that cool.
We're not cool enough, we're not smart enough. So maybe you guys know how to do AI stuff, neural networks, deep learning, computer learning, whatever. We don't even know the terminology, but we would like to create something cool.
Yeah.
So if you know that stuff, let's partner up and let's create cool AI.
Yeah. Send us an email, leave us a comment on this video, drop us a line.
And become rich with us.
Okay, well, we're going to put a full stop on the end of that sentence and wind this episode up for today. Thank you for joining us. And we bestow you a fabulous evening. And until next time,
please keep... Oh, wait, yeah. Buy our plugins. Buy all of them. And buy these guys' plugins as well. Buy all the plugins.
James had one job, was to remember our tagline for the episode, and he couldn't do it. See you later, guys.